We're here and it is Thursday, March 21st, 2019. I'm Dave. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. If you're watching live, I appreciate you stopping by, taking time out of your day to join me here at the scheduled time. If you're watching this post, if you're watching this afterwards, either on YouTube or back here on Facebook, thank you. Thank you for taking time to come in and take a look. I do appreciate it. It's always greatly appreciated. Even and my live viewers, I appreciate all of you. So thank you for stopping by. So tonight, it is Thursday, and that's right, on the calendar, it's leadership, and we're talking about leadership tonight. And tonight's subtopic, and that's the topic is leadership, but the subtopic is motivation. What is motivation? And well, first let's define motivation. And motivation is the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. And usually it comes from a little inspiration behind that motivation. Something has to inspire people to do it. And in most cases, most people, it's money. Most cases, it's money. They got to pay the bills. They got to put food on the table. So that is a great motivator, a great inspiration. You got to have money. You got to make money. So how do you do it? It motivates you to go out and get a job. You get a job, you work, you make money. And of course, then there's other people that, well, they want to do good in the world. So that's their motivation. That's what gets them moving. That's what gets them going forward. Other people want to be part of something bigger. That inspires them, that motivates them, and that gets them to step up. And then there's some people that just, again, they want to do their own thing, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's their motivation. And the only way to keep doing their own thing is they have to keep hustling, grinding, and working at it until they're a success, and then they can hire others to work for them. I understand it, and hey, I wouldn't mind being there as well. But again, the realities are that we still have to take care of what we are responsible for. We still have to do what is critical, what's essential, what is mission first. And if you're a parent, family, well, family comes first. Ideally, in a perfect world, family comes first. And then you've got to give in to, the business, the job, the work, and then the success there, and so on and so on. So you see it trickles down. So the motivation is kind of a never-ending thing. It's always going to be there. It has to be there. Because if you want to eat, you got to work. You got to work. Well, again, it's a vicious cycle. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Because at some point, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're going to have to make a choice between, do I do something that's going to feed me and my family for forever? Or is there going to be something here that I can alternately do? It might be times might be a little tight. Times might be a little different. It might sting a little bit. But the end game will reap so much reward. So you've got to figure out what is your motivation. You have to figure out as an individual, as an adult, you have to figure out what motivates you and what your priorities are. And priorities, again, is going to be something else I'll talk about in leadership, in the Thursday leadership editions. But for now, it's motivation. And so how do you motivate, as a leader, how do you motivate people? Well, you have to find their commonality. You don't go around threatening people. If you don't do what I say, you're going to be fired. You're going to lose money, and you're going to be poor, and you're going to lose your home. You don't do that. That's not a leader. That's not even a bad manager. That's a horrific manager. So you don't do those kinds of things. But what you do is you inspire people and you motivate them in a positive manner where at the end of all of that, they say, you know what? I want to do this. They step up. Even they might have been hesitant. But if you're a good motivator, you're a good leader, you spell things out, you show it black and white, this is it, there's no gray areas, look, here's the mission, here's what we have to accomplish, then you can get them to do just about anything. And great leaders throughout history have done that. Great leaders have done that throughout history. And there's plenty of examples. So how do you become a great leader? Folks, that's simple. You have to be a great follower. And to be a great follower doesn't mean you have to follow great leaders. No, it means you have to be a great follower. It means you have to take the initiative. You have to motivate yourself that one day you're going to be a leader and people are going to look up to you. And are you going to do the right thing by them? Now, going up the line, you're going to pay your bills. You're going to pay your dues. And what I'm saying, being a great follower means you're going to have lousy leaders. You're going to have fantastic leaders. You're going to have a mix. And you're going to have some managers that, well, they don't even know why they're there. And then you're going to have some managers that you're going to wonder, like, how did they get in? But again, you be the great follower. That's how you become a great leader. That's how you become a great motivator, because you have something to give back. It's when you don't have something to give back, then that's when you start running into trouble. Because if all you've got is one thing, and that's your position of authority, well, guess what? That doesn't fly anymore. Those days are long gone. This is not the 1970s. This is not the early 80s. No, this is the 21st century. Motivation Always has, always will work, and that's why it remains one of those top leadership skills, and that's why it's the first one I talk about here. It's essential, it's critical that you as a leader have to learn how to motivate people. Here's an example, something that happened lifetime ago, but it happened in the military. And again, there's another great place to look for examples of motivation, leadership, of great leaders, great followers. This happened. Platoon sergeant came out. He's in charge of about 33 men. In this case, it was infantrymen. So it was 11 Bravos, infantry. And he said, one day he said, oh, I need volunteers. The whole group, him and Hod, nobody raised their hands, and I'm going to start picking people. And so he did. Nobody liked it. The next day he comes out, okay, I need volunteers. And before I start picking people, I need one volunteer. So somebody in the back raised his hand, and he reluctantly raised his hand. Okay, you come up here. Thank you for volunteering. Your mission is you have the day off. Everybody else on the truck, we got to go out and do something at the range. That was that. Talk about motivation. The next day, the platoon sergeant comes back out there. He says, okay, I need volunteers. All hands went up. All hands went up. Because again, they were motivated. He didn't know if they were going to release somebody else again. Then nobody knew if there was someone who was going to get the paid day off. As a leader, it's not a trick, because again, you asked for a volunteer. The volunteer was to have the day off. But be honest, be truthful, be genuine. And everybody knew, raising their hand, that there was a chance that they weren't going to get the day off. But hey, you know what? Everybody stepped in at that point. Because volunteering doesn't have to be bad. Being motivated, you don't have to motivate for the wrong reasons. You can motivate for the right reasons. But I guarantee you, no, there was never a time after that I can recall that there were no volunteers. And that's how you motivate people. Give them a little something of what they want, and they'll respond in a positive manner. But if you're constantly putting them down, looking over the shoulders, micromanaging, then that's not a leader. That's no motivation there, because they're constantly looking over the shoulder and not paying attention to what they need to be doing. You hire people for a reason to do their job. Let them do their job. Don't micromanage them. That's how you motivate them too. Let them do their job, and let them know that if there's a problem, they can come to you, because one, you are the leader. You are their leader. Never let them forget that. And that too is a great motivating factor. I know I spent here about 7 minutes talking about motivation, but again, it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much out there. Your homework is to go out there and look some up. Great motivators, great leaders, great followers throughout history. Learn their lessons. Don't make their mistakes. Learn from their mistakes. That's a great leader. That's a great leader hint right there. Learn from the mistakes of others. Folks, I'm David. It is Thursday, and this has been the Leadership Edition. Have a great day. Have a great evening. I will talk to you tomorrow.